We finally got Lyria back, but this doesn't... We finally got Lyria back,
Can I take a
but
look?
this doesn't...
Skyfarer. Can I take a look? Come again.
It bode well.
Come again.
It bode well.
No. Good day. No. Good day.
Sometime after the commotion at Tempeal, life in Folka began to struggle towards normalcy.
Good day.
Life in Folka began to struggle towards normalcy. I'd been blind to the city's charms before, and focused as I was on rescuing Lyria from the Church of Avia. Focused as I was on rescuing Lyria from the Church of Avia's rage, as they raised new homes for themselves from the rubble. Furican's rage, as they raised new homes for themselves from the rubble. They are slow to fade. Here and there, the children of Tempeal labored with tools too large for their hands. The children of Tempeal labored with tools too large for their hands. The children said their work was their responsibility. I offered my aid. The children said their work was their responsibility. Some distance away, a small boy burst into a red-faced fit. Some distance away, Lyria and I rushed over, hoping to be of help. Lyria and I rushed over, hoping to be of help.
Don't try and stop me! I have to do this!
He hurled his words like stones as he whipped into a run. He hurled his words like stones as he whipped into a run. Concerned, he explained that the boy's sister was ill, and the lad was after the remedy. He explained that the boy's sister was ill, and the lad was after the remedy died out hundreds of years ago, but had now returned to have died out hundreds of years ago. But had now returned to torment the child.
I heard the woods where windcress grows have turned into a monster den. I heard the woods where windcress grows have turned into a monster den.
Folka had no soldiers to spare. The boy had struck out alone. For they were all dispatched to Tempeal for the reconstruction effort. For they were all dispatched. No one was left to answer the reconstruction effort. But I would. No one was left to answer his pleas. I vowed to bring back the child. And if possible, in my heart too, I vowed to bring back the child. That I wasn't too late. And if possible, the herb too. I prayed only that I wasn't too late. I'll take point. I'll take point.
Well, according to that old villager, this is the place we want to be. Well,
perfect.
According
Keep
to
your
that
eyes
old
peeled
villager,
for Windcrest.
This is the place we want to be.
Perfect. Keep your eyes peeled for Windcrest. Earth spirits. Strange. We didn't see any the last time we were here. Strange.
Attracted to the wind.
We didn't see any the last time we were here.
Hand them down! Come on! Pin them down! No objections here.
I'm calling you Hellcat. Now we're cooking.
No objections here.
Now we're cooking.
Don't take my thorn.
Don't let up.
Don't take my thorn.
I've got one.
Nice.
I've got one.
Nice. Shall we? Yeah, turn them against each other.
Hot enough for you?
Hey, I think I spied some windcrest.
Hot enough for you?
I think I spied some
Saving this
windcrest.
one.
Take my
Been saving this one. Roll with the bloom.
The roses shall protect you. retrace our steps and look somewhere else. It doesn't seem like he's here. Let's retrace our steps and look somewhere else. Should be more than enough.
But we still haven't located the boy.
Yeah,
What?
That should be more
Where is
than
that
enough.
coming from? We still haven't
know,
located
but
the
it
boy.
can't be a good
What?
sign.
Where
We
is
better
that
hurry.
coming from?
I don't know, but it can't be a good sign. We better hurry.
A golem. So that's what was behind the tremors.
Crap, it spotted us.
A golem.
Get ready for a
So
fight.
that's what was behind the tremors.
Crap, it spotted us. Get ready for a fight.
Let's do this. Get behind my back. Let's do this. Get behind my back. Keep them back. Stay with me. All support. We keep them back. We can always count on you.
I'll never let you down.
We can always count on you.
I'll never let you down.
Are you hearing your own voice? You think that when you hear it, you'll cover the target? Are you hearing your own voice? Some of it's you think that when you hear it, you'll cover the target critical and monsters. Some of it's how it's used to the land. My guard's down. The monsters. My guard's down.
Pin them down. Pin them down. Don't count me out. Wait for me. Don't count me out. Wait for me in the ready.
I'm on the track.
Ready yourself. In the ready. Ready yourself. You can't afford to let it run free. Not while that boy remains missing. You can't afford to let it run free. Not while that boy remains missing.
Got sight on it. Got sight on it. Rosetta?
Shall we?
Rosetta?
Shall we? Helena, understood! Fall now! Helena, understood!
My turn now.
Fall now! Captain! Hurry now! Do it again!
I don't like the looks of this.
Do it again! Light
I
wall!
don't like the looks of this.
Light wall! I'll finish it! voice. With a final death knell, the golem stilled. The boy crawled out from the final death knell. The golem pressed the wind crest. The boy crawled out from the tall grass. And I pressed the wind crest into his trembling hand.
You're the best, lady! Wow! Now I can see my sister!
He smiled at me, and
You're
with
the
a great
best, lady.
burden lifted from his shoulders, he smiled at me the whole way and with a great burden lifted from his shoulders. As I watched his happy the whole shuffle, way back I wished more joy and color as I watched his life happy shuffle, which had been covered by the dust color into his life of toil, which had been covered by the dust of destruction.
Need something? Need something?
We made medicine from the wind crest you picked. The doctor said Hazel looks better every day. Medicine from the wind crest you picked. This morning, the doctor said Hazel to get out of bed and do some drawing. She loves drawing pictures. She was able to get out of bed and do some drawing. Catalina. She loves drawing pictures. From Al.
And Hazel.
Thanks again, Catalina. Please visit Foca when you have a chance.
And Hazel.
P.S. Please visit Foca when you have a chance.
While out running errands in Foca one day, I came across a crowd of people in the town square. While out running errands in Foca one day, I came across a crowd of people in the town square. But from the sounds of things, it wasn't a friendly get-together.
Everybody in this stupid town! I hate you all!
The boy shouted angrily at the adults and took off running. Right into me! The boy shouted angrily at the adults and took off running. Right into me!
Jeez, and we both landed on our backsides. And that's when I noticed the tears streaming down his face. He was clearly upset about something. I noticed the tears streaming down his face. Hey, he was clearly upset about something.
The boy hopped to his feet without a word, shooting me a glare before sprinting away. The boy hopped to his feet without a word. One of the adults started to follow after him, sprinting away.
Please, Doctor, there's not much time.
Started to follow after him, but the crowd stopped him in his tracks.
Please, Doctor, there's not much time.
But I can't just...
The crowd stopped him in his tracks.
You're right. My patients need me. But I can't just... Forgive me, Lev. No, you're right.
The man closed his eyes, muttered something to the townspeople, and ran off in the opposite direction. Muttered something to the townspeople, and ran off in the opposite direction. You're not gonna go after him? Wait, that kid was crying. I shouted after the man's back, but he either didn't hear me, or pretended not to. I shouted after the man's back, but he either didn't gentle hand on my shoulder, or pretended not to.
I'm sure he wants to,
Then I felt a gentle hand on my shoulder.
You see, that boy is his son. I'm sure he wants to, sweetheart.
The boy's name was Lev.
You see, that boy
His
is
father
his
was
son.
a doctor, with many patients needing urgent care. So he had no choice but to ask the many patients to find his son for him. So he had no choice but to ask the townspeople to find his son for him. I couldn't get the poor kid's face out of my head. I should mind my own business. He was probably hiding somewhere all by himself, face out of my head. He was probably hiding somewhere all by himself, crying his eyes out. To be alone. I understood all too well how painful it felt to be alone. It changed my life forever. When Master Soccer reached out to do the same for someone else. My life forever. I turned to ask the crew if we could do the same for someone else. They were already gearing up to head after him. I turned to ask the crew if we could join the search. We'd all had the same idea. They were already gearing up to head after him. Just you wait, Lev. It seemed we'd all had the same idea. I was gonna find him and put a smile back on his face. I thought to myself, even if it meant sticking my nose where it didn't belong. Back on his face. Even if it meant sticking my nose where it didn't belong. The villagers didn't seem too worried about Lev. According to them, he'd have to venture much deeper into the forest before encountering any monsters. According to them, he'd have to venture much deeper into the forest before encountering any monsters. It seemed like nobody wanted to talk about why he'd run off in the first place. It seemed like nobody wanted to talk about why he'd run off in the first place. It was an obvious cry for help, and nobody was helping. Even after I met my master, I went through the same thing back in the day. My parents was even after I met my master. There were times when I didn't go so far as to run from too much to bear, but I'd sit alone in the corner of my room, hugging my knees to my chest and crying. I'd sit alone in the corner of my room, whenever Master Zaka found me like that, and crying. He'd always perform a silly magic trick to cheer me up. Whenever Master Zaka found me like that, he'd always perform a silly magic trick to cheer me up. Find him. To take his hand. So he went off on his own in the hopes that someone would come for him. To take his hand. So he went off on his own in the hopes that someone would come for him. I was the only card he felt he had left. I'm sure he knew it was selfish. Do you think it was the only card he felt he had left? Home anymore? I had a feeling that wasn't the case. To live at home anymore? He's probably just going through a rebellious phase. He's probably just going through a rebellious phase. And acting out, right? Catalina told me it's pretty common. Start arguing and acting out, right? Did you have a face like that? Catalina told me it's pretty common. Lyria's question was innocent enough. Did you have a face like that? But I was too embarrassed to admit that I ever got off alone because I wanted someone to pay attention to me. I was too embarrassed to admit that I ever got off alone because I wanted someone to pay attention to me. That's not something befitting of a grown lady like myself. Heck no! That's not something befitting of a grown lady like myself. Our biggest concern right now was Lev. So what if I told a little lie? Probably crying with his back up against some Lev. Silent tree. Out there. Probably crying with his back up against some and I was more than determined to be one for him. He needed a friend. And I was more than determined to be one for him. This forest is as huge as ever. I sure hope Lev's okay. This forest is as huge as ever. Find him, and fast. I sure hope Lev's okay. Come on, we've gotta find him, and fast! Wait, we're still on the edge of the forest, right? What are goblins doing here? We're still on the edge of the forest, right? What are goblins doing here? No time to wait. Watch out for the fire! We're gonna see that You're watch out for the fire! We're gonna see that I don't see him anywhere! I don't see him anywhere! Just more, where's that came from? Just more, where's that came from? That's a lot of monsters. Doesn't we just have to take them all out? That's a lot of monsters. Doesn't we just have to take them all out? Got heals for you. Incoming. Come on. Got heals for you. Incoming. Come on.
Right. I won't lose focus.
Trigger fingers itching.
Right. I won't lose focus.
What do you think?
Trigger fingers itching.
Even what do you think?
Like that's the left, Mama. Let's all alone out there. Come on. Like that's the left, Mama. Let's all alone out there. Come on. Look, there he is. Over there. Iago. I'm the one who won. There he is. Over there. Iago. Watch out.
Pin him down.
Watch out.
Pin him down.
You could sound a little more enthused. You could sound a little more enthused.
lucky we found Lev when we did, or he would have been Monster Chow. We were lucky we
Lev,
found
your
Lev when we
parents are
did, or
worried
he would
sick
have been
about you.
Monster Chow.
Come on, let's go home.
But before we...
Lev, your parents
Lev
are
looked
worried
away,
sick about you.
ignoring the old
Come on,
man's
let's go home.
outstretched hand. Lev looked away. I could imagine how he was feeling. Outstretched hand. Being treated like he was selfish and immature. I could imagine how he was feeling. All he wanted was someone to being treated like he was selfish and immature. When all he wanted was someone to sit down and talk to.
Your mom and dad are
scratched
fine.
his head in frustration.
Try being a little more considerate. Your mom and dad are fine people.
Lev immediately bristled
being
at
a
those
little more
words,
considerate,
breaking
okay?
his silence. Lev immediately bristled at those words,
This is all
breaking
your
his
fault.
silence.
What do you
Knocking
know?
the man's hand
This
out
is
of the
all
way,
your
he
fault.
turned and ran deeper into the forest. Knocking the man's hand out of the way.
was like watching
he
a scene
turned
from
and
my
ran
own
deeper
past.
into the forest. But I wished he'd get a grip already. It was like watching a scene from my own past. The deeper he went into the forest, I wished he'd get a grip already. The more likely he was to get attacked. The deeper he went into the forest, the more likely he was to get attacked. We had to hurry. Need something? Need something? We all split up to search for Lev so we could cover more ground. I didn't see any trace of him at first, so we could cover more ground. I must have gone the wrong way. I didn't see any trace of him at first. Then I noticed footprints that looked like someone had slipped over a nearby ledge. And then sure enough, footprints that looked like someone had slipped over a nearby ledge. Sitting hunched over. Sure enough, when I peeked down, I saw a familiar figure sitting hunched over. Up, but didn't seem to be hurt badly. I was just glad I managed to find him still in one piece. Didn't seem to be hurt badly. I was just glad I managed to find him still in one piece. When I told him I was a Skyfarer, he immediately burst into tears of relief. When I told him I was a Skyfarer, I could tell he was upset with the villagers about something. And that's why he couldn't be honest with them. The villagers about something. But as an outsider, that's why he couldn't be honest with them. I might have a chance. But as an outsider, I thought I might have a chance. Special magic, just for you. Watch closely. I'm gonna cast some for one of my masters. Just for you. Magic tricks. It was time for one of my masters before covering it with a handkerchief. I showed Lev my empty cloth away before covering it with a handkerchief. There was a piece of candy in my hand. I flung the cloth away, and voila! Wow, there was a piece of candy in my hand. Here, you can have it. Wow, candy! After devouring the candy, he finally calmed down. After devouring the candy, he finally calmed down. That would have been enough to lift any kid's spirits. But his face fell again. That would have been enough to lift any kid's spirits. But his face really doesn't want to go home as it had lit up. I decided I wouldn't leave him until there was a smile back on his face. I decided I wouldn't leave him until there was a smile back on his face. While we were still deep in the woods, I decided to ask Lev up front. While we were still deep in the woods, run away? I decided to ask Lev up front. He hesitated at first. Why did you run away? That I was serious, he started to open up first. But after seeing that I was serious, he started to open up.
My mom and dad used to work as doctors in Temple.
But when Furican went berserk, all had been well with their family. They lost their home and ended up moving to Folka. When Furican went berserk, they lost their home and ended up moving to Folka. His parents began to spend all of their time tending to patients who were affected by the disaster. His parents began to spend all of their time tending to patients who were affected by the disaster. Lev watched as his mom got paler and the black circles under her eyes grew darker and darker. His mom got paler and the black circles under her eyes grew darker and darker. Eventually, she collapsed but it was no use. Eventually, she collapsed from overwork.
Anymore if she got sick. I told her she wouldn't be able to help people anymore if she got sick.
And here I thought he was just a kid going through a rebellious phase. That wasn't the case at all. I thought he was just a kid going through a rebellious phase. That's really grown up of you, Lev. That wasn't the case at all. You're just worried about your mom and dad, huh? That's really grown up of you, Lev.
Yeah.
You're just worried about your mom and dad, After hearing Lev's explanation, I finally understood how he felt. After hearing Lev's explanation, I knew how hard it was watching people how he felt about pushing themselves too hard. I knew how hard it was watching people my master doing it either. Pushing themselves too hard. And that's exactly what was going through Lev's mind. He wasn't being selfish. And that's exactly what was going through Lev's mind. It was because he loved his parents. He wasn't being selfish. Everything he did, it was because he loved his parents.
After the visit, we made our way to a tavern. We could hear the rain beating down on the establishment. We made our way to a tavern. It was still day. We could hear the rain beating down on the establishment. It was still day. Ordered the stiffest drink they had, downed it in one gulp. Garzeda ordered the stiffest drink they had, downed it in one gulp.
Symbolizes something. My friend once showed me a flower and I had other things in my mind, so I never bothered looking it up. At the time, I didn't get it, and I had other things in my mind, so I never bothered looking it up.
Saying that he wished he had treasured those small, everyday moments with her. Saying that he wished he had treasured those small, everyday moments, reminding me of my own failures. Each word struck me like a blow.
How am I supposed to live with this regret? It's like the storm outside. How am I supposed to live with this regret? Till I give in and let it sweep me away. Like the storm outside. Pounding on me until I give in and let it sweep me away.
I mulled over his question. I'm not the right person to answer that. Only your friend knows. I'm not the right person to answer that.
How?
Only your friend knows. So I told Garzeda about my wife. And about the agony of losing. So I told Garzeda about my wife. All the things I'd hoped for. The agony of things we could do as a family. Were no longer things I'd hoped for. Things we could do as a family. Remorse threatened to swallow me whole. Possible. I couldn't imagine chasm of remorse threatened to swallow me whole. Then. I couldn't imagine things getting better. But I was still alive. Not then. Unlike my wife, I still had a future. But I was still alive. Didn't that obligate me to move forward? I still had a future. Find meaning in being left behind. Didn't that obligate me to move forward? And try to fulfill what she wanted for me. Find meaning in being left behind. Didn't that apply to Garzeda? And try to fulfill what she wanted for me. You want me to go with you? Didn't that apply to Garzeda? I mean? Maybe want me to go with you to find that flower, the answers he needed. Maybe finding it would give him the answers he needed.
During our stay in Seed Hollow, a certain request made its way into our hands. During our stay in Seed Hollow, we were to inspect sightings of a mysterious young girl near the Seed Hollow Castle. We were to inspect sightings of a mysterious young girl near the Seed Hollow Castle. I put a hand on Lyria's shoulder to comfort her, and asked the client for more details. I put a hand on Lyria's shoulder to comfort her, the young girl, and asked the client for more details. According to reports, workers helping with the castle's restoration effort would attempt to approach her. Workers helping with the castle's restoration effort would attempt to approach her. Each sighting would vanish another handful of builders, until there weren't enough hands to another handful of builders. By all accounts, it seemed to be a ghost. Complete repairs. Of course, I couldn't admit that. By all accounts, it seemed to be a ghost. It was not uncommon for spirits to take refuge in ancient ruins or castles. It was not uncommon for spirits to take refuge in ancient ruins or castles. And they were almost never malicious, even friendly sometimes. They were almost never malicious, even friendly sometimes. I just wished we had more information to work with. I just wished we had more information to work with. I just couldn't quite put my finger on it. Familiar about this story. I just couldn't quite put my finger on it.
I was born in a snow-laden hamlet, peopled by Harvins. I was born in a snow-laden hamlet, peopled by Harvins. We believe the skies far too vast for us and the sword. As I was soon to learn, it's dangerous for us, far too many. As I was soon to learn, it happened when I was yet a green callow youth. I strayed beyond our fences when I was yet a green callow youth of a month. I strayed beyond our fences. I cried into the claws, but all that met my voice were the howls of the wind. I cried for help. Abandoned even by hope were the howls of the wind. I could only give myself up to death. Abandoned even by hope, but before the darkness give myself up to death. I saw brilliant figures skimming the sun-kissed snow. I saw brilliant figures skimming the sun-kissed snow. Come to my rescue. They were the Lumiel Order of Holy Knights. There were words bright enough to reflect their flashing swords as they did battle with the beast. Bright enough to reflect their flashing swords as they did battle with the beast. With which they took my hand and led me home to echo the kindness. What can I say? With which they took my hand that they were as mighty and generous as the sun. What can I say? But that they were as mighty and generous as the sun. Life and guidance. On that fateful day, I learned that by shutting your eyes to danger, you only leave it free to wander. By shutting your eyes to danger, you only leave it free to wander. Turn toward the light and become defender to the sky. I resolved to turn toward the light and become defender to the sky. Farmer's hands. I would join the banner of virtue with my farmer's hands. I threw all my being into training, begrudging no amount of sweat. I threw all my being into training, begrudging no amount of sweat or tears. In the snow, grew to become the captain of the Lumiel Order of the Snow. Grew to become the captain of the Lumiel Order of Holy Knights. Good day. As captain of an order of knights, I was faced with a colossal problem. As captain of an order of knights, I was faced with a colossal problem. No one had ever heard of a Harvin leading a charge. What with our stout legs. No one had ever heard of a Harvin leading a charge. Now that I lived among drafts and humans, I would have to develop a style of combat that would turn my size. If I may so phrase it, into a matter that would turn my size. If I may so phrase it. Into a matter of little importance, despite being half as large. My compatriots grew to respect despite being half as large. My compatriots grew to respect me with joy. I was appointed captain, but even the brightest diamond has its flaws. Within Lumiel's brightest diamond has its some that scoffed to behold a Harvin captain of their knights. There were some that scoffed to behold a Harvin captain of their knights. However, for my part, I would not stand to have the good names of my comrades dragged through the mud. I would not stand to have the good names of my comrades dragged through the mud. And I'd rise up to that. We are an august by any means necessary. And I'd rise up to that. Thus began my days of heightened exercises, stretching devices, and miraculous days of heightened exercises, stretching devices, and miraculous concoctions. But I took a tactical approach. Came from reputable sources. Had a chance of working. I took a tactical approach. Days had a chance of working, which grew into months. Days grew into one, which grew into months. But then, it happened. And right as I was on the verge of losing all hope, it happened. Word reached me of a distant village that had devised a height tonic. Word reached me of a distant village that had devised a height tonic. With expectation lending the spring to my steps, I slipped from my quarters and lending the spring to my quest. I slipped from my quarters and set out on my quest. I had to take a mountain pass to the village, Which was, in a word, I had to take a mountain pass to the village. Of course, I refer not to the countless monsters and bandits. Of course, I refer not to the countless monsters and bandits. Great boulders. I took down with insurmountable obstacles for a harvest. Great boulders. I was forced to return to the foothills where, through Lady Seer Okarte, I was forced to return to the foothills where, through Lady Seer Okarte, was how I met the captain and crew of the Grand Cipher. That was how I met the captain and crew of the Grand Cipher without further incident. With their aid, I reached the village without further incident. It turned out that this magic tonic was merely your average growth stimulant. It turned out that this designed to help a budding youth blossom to a seemly height. Designed to help a budding youth woman like me to a seemly height. Already in the prime of her life, it could do little for a woman like me. Already in the prime of her life, dashed to foam. Thus, all my best efforts only time in my life. I cursed for the first and cutting me out of so short a claw. I cursed fate for cutting me out of so short the depths of despair that I would find a new hope. However, it was within the depths of the Grand Cipher was bound for Estalucia, which is said to be an island of miracles. Bound for Estalucia, could not which is said to be an island of miracles. Could not somehow there give me what I determined to accompany the captain to the newfound results. I was determined to accompany the captain to the end of the sky. Take leave of the Lumiel Order. Needless to say, I still remember the look of surprise on former Officer Bautorda's face. I still remember the look of surprise on former Officer Bautorda's face. He expressed his admiration and my quest to become the very figure of his admiration for me. Lady Bridget to become Lady Cordelia also gave me their blessings. Lady Bridget and Lady Cordelia also gave me their blessings. How grateful I am to my kind comrades. There are no words to express how grateful I am till I can return to them with my head held high. And I dream of the day I can return to them with my head held high. At long last, measuring many feet tall. The captain they deserve. At long last, in both body such and spirit. Such are my thoughts. As I peer out over the railings of the Grand Cipher. Such are my thoughts. Boundless as I peer out over the railings of the Grand Cipher. Unto boundless, majestic skies. One day, when I was visiting Seed Hollow on business, I espied a young man. When I was visiting Seed Hollow on business, I espied a young man. There was no mistaking his mussed hair. A style rebellious youth. There was no mistaking his mussed hair and surly face. A style rebellious youth. Here was Sir Soupstock, helmsman of the family Zappa. Here was Sir Soupstock, is something the matter? Of the family Zappa. The lad met my inquiry with a scowl. Is something the matter? The lad met my inquiry with a scowl.
Wait, the hell are you looking at? Are you a part of that crew? Kid. Wait.
Assured of my goodwill,
are you a part of that crew?
Sir Soupstock unfolded his troubles. Assured of my goodwill, making his usual rounds, squaring away accounts. His troubles. The lad had met with making his usual rounds, squaring away accounts. One of their clients. The lad had met a nobleman disdainful of Sir Soupstock's low birth and tender age. A nobleman had disdainful of Sir Soupstock's low birth and tender age. Had refused to pay.
Working under me, good people. I'm dealing with the real frilly pants, blue-blooded good people. Any attempt to rough them up, straight to the slammer here. Any attempt to rough them up, straight to the slammer.
A single misstep was a treacherous path. It was his reputation in the mud. A single misstep. Hearing this, it was his reputation in the mud. For I knew what it was like to feel green. My heart went out to him with judging eyes. I knew what it was like to feel green. I offered him my aid with judging eyes upon me.
I appreciate the thought, but
I offered him
no
my
offense.
aid.
You look like a kid. If I bring you on my rounds, they're gonna change my name from Soupstock to Laughing Stock. If I bring you on my rounds, they're gonna change my name from Soupstock to Laughing Stock.
Bearing a message from the nobleman in question. A servant arrived, bearing a message from the nobleman in question. Meet me at the following location. I've decided to pay. This whole affair was starting to smell ranker than a goblin's breath. This whole affair was starting to smell ranker than a goblin's breath. Why go through the trouble of arranging yet another meeting? Why go through the trouble of arranging yet another meeting? And I resolve to accompany Sir Soupstock to stop it in its tracks. And I resolve to accompany Sir Soupstock to stop it in its tracks. Which will it be? Which will it be? Well then, so long. Well then, so long. Oh no. No. Ready for some action? Ready for some action? Let this be your final battle, okay? Now here's an offer you can't. If we have a wide selection of sigils. Let me know. Here's an offer you can't. If we have a wide selection of sigils. Let me know. Never hurts to have some backup, right? Never hurts to have some backup, right? Did you miss us, Captain? Did you miss us, Captain? The butterfly alights. The butterfly alights. And just in time. And just in time. Good day. Good day. I'm from Tremont Island, a quiet little place where I lived with my parents and sister. A quiet little place. Things were good where I lived with my parents. My sister was suffering from a terrible condition. Things were good. We couldn't treat her on Tremont. My sister was suffering, so she was forced to travel to another island. We couldn't treat her on Tremont. So she was forced to travel to another island. Skyfaring wasn't nearly the safe bet that it is today. Back then, so I wasn't sure if she'd even make it there. The safe bet that it is today. Receive treatment. So I wasn't sure if she'd even make it there. I loved my sister more than anything. Receive treatment. So waving bye to her as she took off toward an unknown future was the hardest thing I'd ever done. So waving bye to her as she took off toward an unknown future was the hardest thing I'd ever done. It hurt. I hope her cure would be swift. I hope she'd sail back to me with each setting sun. Her cure would be swift. But the days sailed back to me with they grew into months. But the days, sometime after she left, they grew into months. A brutal pandemic spread across Tremont. Sometime after she left, our population, a brutal pandemic spread across Tremont. I was shocked. Crippling our population, the good people I'd known all my life pass. I was shocked. Watching the good people I'd known all my life pass away. And when it came for me, I was horrified. I knew death was waiting at the front door. And when it came for me, I thought death was waiting at the front door. Weighing me to my bed. What could I do? What could I do but turn to the skies and weighing me to my bed? Please, what could I do but turn to the skies and pray? I want to hear my family. I want to hear their voices again. I want to hear my family. My pleas were answered. I want to hear their voices again. Not by salvation. My pleas were answered. It was Celeste by salvation, the primal beast of death, who descended from the heavens. The primal beast of death stole death who descended from the heavens. preventing them from slipping into the afterlife. Suffering islanders became zombies, preventing them from slipping into the afterlife. They became zombies. Unlike the others, sentient, my corporeal form faded away. Unlike the others, spirit to haunt the land. Form faded away. This, leaving my spirit, gave me a to haunt the land. If I was given this an unlife, gave me perhaps my mother and father would be given the same. If I was given an unlife, then perhaps my mother and father would be given the same. They grew into years. But then it became clear that though Celeste held dominion over death, life was a more complicated held dominion over death. It was my wish a more complicated matter to Tremont. I was to blame for turning my hometown into a living cemetery. I was to blame for turning my hometown into a living cemetery. Well, if the villagers knew I chose to haunt the manor on the outskirts of town. That's why I chose to haunt the manor on the outskirts of town. I counted the days until I lost track of time. No one to talk to. Solitude. I counted the days until I lost track of time. Isolation was better than hearing my name used as a curse. Isolation, but with time, hearing my name the silence ate away at my name. But with time, until even I forgot who I was. Ate away at my name. Until even I forgot who I was. It's true that there weren't people around the manor, but I did discover a few ghost animals floating around the manor. But I did discover a few ghost animals floating about. Because of our shared ghosthood. They took a liking to me. I gave them cute names to show because of our shared ghosthood. Beppo. And I gave them cute names to show my affection. And Nicola. Beppo. Before I knew it, Fuji, my lonesome days became a little less gray. Before I knew it, if not less repetitive. My lonesome days became a little less gray. So many tomorrows if not less yesterdays passed me by. I felt as stale and constant as the yesterdays that covered the island. I felt as stale and constant as the mist when the crew came to my manor. They were a cheerful, lively when the crew came to my manor, but also straightforward and intimidating. It had been so long since I needed to interact and intimidating. It had been so long since I needed to interact with other people. I would have to acknowledge the real depth of my loneliness. If I made contact, so I would acknowledge the real depth of my loneliness. So I ran again, and they followed once more. So I ran again, and they followed once more. Undeterred by my spectral form, no matter where I fled, my ghostly pets, they found me. Undeterred by my spectral and decided to ask them about their situation. Finally, thanks to the mists, they explained their situation. Their airship was grounded on Tremont. Thanks to the mists, they explained, like the other airship was grounded on Tremont. We were all prisoners of Celeste, the other islanders. So long as she still had a pact with the islands of Celeste, there would be no refuge from her fog. So long as she still had a pact with the island, but there would be no refuge from her fog. Her powers preserved the unlives of Tremont's people. By the same token, myself included, her powers preserved the unlives of Tremont's people. We would fade with her. Myself included me. If Celeste was brought down, a necessary course of action. We would fade with her. I had only one thing to accomplish before confronting the primal beast of death. It was a necessary course of action. I needed to come clean to the islanders. I had only one thing to accomplish before confronting the primal beast of death. Had it not been for the arrival of the captain and the crew, it would never have found the strength to make that decision. Had it not been for the arrival of the captain and the crew, took a deep breath, I would never have found the strength to make to the people how I doomed everyone. I marched straight to the village. To my surprise, took a deep breath, looked upon me and explained to the people how I doomed everyone. But to my surprise, they looked upon me with sympathy and warmth. With the understanding and support of the islanders, I called Celeste once again. But she didn't appear. With the understanding and support of the islanders, covered the island. I called Celeste once again. That's how I learned the truth. But she didn't appear. It wasn't only me who had crossed Celeste's fate with our own. That's how I learned the truth. The other culprit was the doctor who was traveling through our village back when the pandemic first appeared. The other culprit was the doctor who was traveling through our village back when the pandemic first appeared. But he was secretly conducting research to summon Celeste. We found that his consciousness had already been swallowed by the primal beast of death. And he couldn't cough up any helpful information. We found that his consciousness had already been swallowed by the primal beast of death. With the crew and he couldn't cough up any helpful information. Despite the setbacks, the mists parted, joined with the crew, and the island returned to its to find and defeat Celeste. Its residents began to pass into the great beyond, and the island returned to its former state. Its residents began to pass. Everyone I'd known had been lifted into the bright sky, into light, leaving behind only their memories. Before long, everyone I'd known had been lifted into the waited for my final moment, leaving behind only their memories. No matter how long I waited, I closed my eyes and waited for my final moment, left behind. But no matter how long I waited, I stared out at the village, devoid of residents, left behind. Yet again, I was alone. But I stared out at the village, devoid of residents. The nameless ghost was no more. I was alone, because a strange man gave me an oddly familiar name. The nameless ghost was no more. So long as I had that name, because a strange man gave me an oddly familiar name. I could wait decades, maybe even so long as I had that name, my sister to return, and my memories with the crew. I think the captain, however, couldn't be even leading me to such a hollow fate, and invited me to the crew. I think the captain, however, how could I leave the island to such a hollow fate? I knew that my little sister would come back to me. How could I leave the island? Even though we were no more than graves and warm thoughts, I knew that my little sister would come back to me, was laid to rest. Even though we were no more than graves and warm thoughts, if she came back and no one was waiting, this is where her family was laid to rest. That's why I knew I had to stay. If she came back and no one was waiting, wouldn't she be sad? If I was worried about my sister, I should go look for her. But the captain wouldn't hear it. If I was worried about my sister, I should go look for her. I had never even considered the option. It was a new chance. But I knew I had never been off my island. I just needed to find the courage. I never even considered the option. And that's how I set out on a journey with the crew. I just needed to find in that big blue sky. And that's how I set out on a journey with the crew. Somewhere out there in that big blue sky, my sister is waiting for me. One day, I was out shopping in Seed Hollow Central Plaza when I saw a woman with kind eyes sitting on a bench. One day, I was out shopping in Seed Hollow Central Plaza when I saw a woman with kind eyes sitting on a bench. Oh, she was absorbed in her needlepoint. Thank you. Your embroidery is genuine and cozy. Oh, just like the blanket she was working on. She told me it was a smile was genuine and cozy. Just like I've never seen anyone so outside before. She told me it was a present for her beloved. Really? I'm hoping some of this cheerful sunlight works its way into the fiber. She giggled. Her name was Malfira. I'm hoping some of this cheerful sunlight works its way into the fiber. Admittedly, her name was beautiful, and the kind that made you appreciate being alive. Or, well, admittedly, the weather was beautiful. The kind that made you appreciate being alive. White dividing the sky. Well, the aftermath of an unfortunate cloud that had been pierced by a wayfaring airship. White dividing the sky. Those clouds. The aftermath of an unfortunate cloud that had been pierced by a wayfaring airship. Back at Malfira, how fragile those looked to be making diligent progress. Our journeys. A familiar memory crept to mind. I glanced back at Malfira. The time when I looked to be making diligent progress. New stuffed animals for me. A familiar memory crept to mind. The nostalgia was comfortable. I begged my mother to sew new stuffed animals. I was brought back to the present when I heard a troubled sigh. The nostalgia was comfortable. Welcomed even. But I was brought back to the present when I heard a troubled sigh from beside me.
Is something wrong? Such a forlorn expression didn't match Malfira's cheerful disposition. Is something wrong?
Oh, sorry to worry you.
Such a forlorn expression didn't match Malfira's cheerful disposition. Malfira forced a grin and stretched the throw across her lap.
Bother a stranger over. It's just, I had hoped to use warming thread on this little project.
And stretched the throw across her lap. What kind of thread?
It's just, I had hoped to use
I didn't even know there
were
different types of thread. What kind of thread? Malfira, there was a type of didn't even know there were different types of thread. Silk was imbued with magic. But according to Malfira, there was a type to retain a comfortable warmth all year round, whose silk was imbued with magic.
If only I could get to fondom on my own.
Were said to retain a comfortable warmth all year round.
The matter of tracking the insect. If only I could get to fondom on my own.
But the way her eyebrows stitched together, ever so slightly, covertly signaled her true disappointment. But the way her eyebrows stitched together, ever so slightly, I know I look young, covertly signaled her true disappointment. I put my hands on my hips and puffed out my chest, a posture I hoped would inspire confidence. I put my hands on my hips and puffed out my chest, a posture I hoped would inspire confidence.
My fault for having unrealistic expectations, really. It was just a silly thought.
I could tell the pose did not, in fact, inspire confidence. From her tone alone, later, I could tell the pose discussion with the captain. In fact, we decided to head to Fondom anyway. Later, after a quick discussion with the captain, we decided to head to Fondom anyway. Why yet? I needed Malfira to finish her blanket. I just didn't understand why. Okay, let's do this. Okay, let's do this. According to Sierra, the insect in question nests atop the local wildlife, but there's a rumor of vicious monsters also makes the insect in question nests atop the local wildlife, but there's a rumor of vicious monsters. Those look like fire spirits.
We better get them before they get us.
Don't get cute. Those look like fire spirits.
We better get them before they get us.
Don't get cute. Dude, wow. Play dead. It's our turn. Cut them off right away. Please, Gigi, time and place.
Oh, does somebody want to play when this is all over?
Cut them down right away. Please, Gigi, time and place.
Oh, does somebody want to play when this is all over?
Why are we going through the trouble again?
Sorry. I just wanted to put a smile on Malfira's face. She looked so...
Going through the trouble again?
Sorry.
But it was
I just wanted to put a smile on Malfira's face.
Who's she to you?
So... I don't know. I know it's a weird connection.
It was your first time.
Her name. Sounds like my sister. I know it's a weird connection. But her name. Sounds like my sister. Direct hit! Looks like someone wants to fight. Let's teach them not to butt in. Direct hit! Looks like someone wants to fight. Let's teach them not to butt in. What do you think? They're open! You will prevail! Stay alert. Caution before battle. They're open! You will prevail! Stay alert. Caution before battle.
You don't scare us!
Time is right.
Lights out!
More wyverns. Momo, you bring up the rear. More wyverns. Momo, you bring up the rear.
What do you think?
If you were honest,
What do you think, Rosetta?
perhaps we went a little too far.
If you were honest, don't say it, Rosetta.
Perhaps we went a little too far.
That went well.
I was just getting warmed up.
You're not wrong.
Don't mix things. That went well.
I was just getting warmed up.
You're not wrong.
Thank you, dear.
Don't get cute. It's all right, Nicola. I'll protect you from the mean monsters. It's all right, Nicola. I'll protect you from the mean monsters.
A bloom for us. What do you think?
Understood.
Stay alert, everyone.
Understood.
Let's get going. Get them!
Understood.
Stay alert, everyone.
Understood.
No shit.
Let's get going. That was great.
Look alive.
Shall we dance?
That was great.
Look alive.
Shall we dance?
What if you fall in? Nothing of consequence, I guess. Huh? What's that? Look out! It's a monster in disguise! You must be that vicious monster we heard about. If you thought you could get a leg up on us, you have another thing coming. Now, you must be that vicious monster we heard about. If you thought you could get a leg up on us, you have another thing coming. Now, get away!
Heads up.
Roger! Put them down!
Kick it up.
I won't fail you.
Lead the way. Sure thing. Let's go, guys.
Heads up.
Roger! Put them down!
Kick it up.
I won't fail you.
Lead the way. Sure thing. Let's go, guys.
Right. Look out for any large attacks. Right. Look out for any large attacks.
Hit them back.
What do you think? Beautiful.
Hit them back.
What do you think? Beautiful.
No escape. I do not falter. Into the eyes of the earth. Very loud. No escape. I do not falter. The right. We have very loud.
Understood. Piercing. Punishment.
The right. We have
Shall we?
Understood. Piercing. Punishment. Rosetta.
Shall we? Understood.
Absolute zero. Now.
Understood. Indeed.
Now. Fine by me.
Right on me. Indeed.
Now we can find that bug in peace. Another one in the bug. Now we can find that bug in peace. Spineless bunch, weren't they? Spineless bunch, weren't they? Is this what you were looking for? I proudly displayed the hard-won thread to a surprised and overjoyed Malfira. Is this what you were looking for?
My word.
I proudly
You
displayed
really
the
are
hard-won
a
thread
Skyfarer,
to a
aren't
surprised
you?
and overjoyed Malfira. She took the spool for a closer
My
look.
word. You really are a Skyfarer, aren't you? I
She
can't
took the
accept
spool
this
for a
for
closer
free.
look.
Let me see what money I have on me. Is this the genuine article?
From her purse, she pulled a
I can't
single,
accept this for
unfamiliar
free.
coin.
Let me see what money I have
I
on
knew
me.
from its extravagant design
From her
that
purse,
it wasn't in
she pulled a
circulation
single,
anywhere near
unfamiliar
Seapolo.
coin.
But it looked valuable all the same.
I knew from its extravagant design
I refused
that it
the
wasn't in
gesture.
circulation anywhere near
Retrieving the
Seapolo.
thread was my
But it looked
decision.
valuable all the
I
same.
wanted to see that blanket finished. I refused
A
the
reward was
gesture.
never part of the equation.
Retrieving the thread was my
Malfira's
decision.
grin bloomed
I
into
wanted
a
to see
full
that
belly
blanket
laugh.
finished. She
A
told me
reward
I
was
was
never
strange
part
girl.
of the equation.
Laughing with her,
Malfira's
I replied
grin
that I had
bloomed
met
into a
stranger.
full belly laugh.
She told me I was a strange girl. Laughing with her, I replied that I had met Stranger. Hello. Hello. We made another pit stop in Seed Hollow, which gave me the chance to check up on Malfira and her progress with the blanket. We made another pit stop in Seed Hollow with me, which gave me the chance to check up on Malfira and her progress with the blanket, just like mine did that first sunny day with me. And their eyes lit up when they saw her intricate embroidery. I felt a kinship just like mine did that and I liked to watch her determination evolve. Though I hadn't known Malfira for very long, I felt a kinship with her. I liked to watch her determination evolve. Maternal and comforting stitch was always able to put me at ease. Most of all, I liked that I'd never met anyone so genuine, maternal and comforting. Was always able to put me at ease. I'd never met anyone so genuine.
Yes, you are.
In fact, Malfira playfully scratched behind Beppo's ears.
Who's a spooky boy?
Was light,
yes,
so I decided to learn a little more about my friend. Malfira playfully scratched behind Beppo's ears. I noticed you're in the Central Plaza quite often. Light, so I decided to learn a little more about my friend.
I don't have much
else
to
I noticed you're in the Central Plaza quite often.
Not with that silly boy still playing in the sand. I don't have much else
Malfira's partner was a geologist on dispatch in Dolly, an extended dispatch, it seemed. Malfira's partner was a geologist on dispatch in Dolly, an extended dispatch. To Malfira, a cozy blanket Dolly was an perfect way to combat the harsh environment, bitterly cold nights.
Maybe it won't
to
be
Malfira,
necessary.
A cozy blanket
coming
seemed
back
the
for a
perfect
visit
way
on
to
the
combat
Airbus
the harsh
month,
environment.
And I'm about to burst with
Maybe
excitement.
it won't be
necessary.
Her joy
He's
should
coming
have
back for
been
a visit on the
infectious.
Airbus next month, and
Try
I'm
as I
about
might
to
to put on
burst
a brave
with
face,
excitement.
my heart sank. Her joy should have been infectious. The Airbus from Dolly. Try as I might to put on a brave face, my heart sank at her words. The Airbus from Dolly? Of course. I come from a long lineage of proud warriors. We had a great number of visitors at our dojo. I come from a long lineage of proud warriors. Disciplines. We had a great number of visitors at our dojo. Blade of my own. Many of them masters of their respective disciplines. Back then, I enjoyed the training for what it was of my own, valuing the journey their movement, the destination. Back then, I enjoyed the training for what it was. I met him, valuing the journey over the destination. Eata. That is, once known as the demon, Zamba, the supreme swordsmaster with a single glance. He identified all of my weaknesses. Once known as the demon, Zamba, with a few words, with a single glance, to overcome them. He identified all of my weaknesses. His strength was beyond captivating. With a few words, I even eavesdropped on a conversation between him and my father. His strength was beyond captivating. I was eavesdropped on a conversation between him and my father. He continued to train at our family relatives. I was elated. I took every opportunity I could to learn from him. He continued to train at our family dojo. I ate whenever he ate. I took every opportunity I could to learn from him. Following him wherever he went. With the exception of our first encounter, I committed all his mannerisms to memory. After all, he however, with the exception of our first encounter, he never acknowledged me, such as myself. After all, he yearned for nothing more to become stronger. I would soar so high, he'd have to see me. So I dedicated myself to training, begrudging even a single moment of respite. He'd have to see me. The blade was everything to me. I dedicated myself to training. Eventually, there was no disciple in the dojo of respite who could come close to rivaling my skill. That was around when he vanished. There was no disciple at the dojo in the blink of an eye who could come close to rivaling my skill. He was out of my life. He spoke not another word when he vanished, nor called me by name. In the blink of an eye, he was out of my life. He spoke not another word to me, nor called me by name. I was meditating in the forest one day when a group of travelers approached me. I didn't know them. I was meditating on the forest crew of the Grand Cipher when a group of travelers approached me. I didn't know them. Initially, I thought they were the captain and the crew of the Grand Cipher. I was only half correct. They were seeking guidance. Initially, I thought they were lost out of the woods. Come to ask for directions. They wanted to learn martial arts only half correct. They were seeking guidance, my head, but I was no master. They wanted to learn martial arts struggling to break free of my own shell. I shook my head. I was no master. The captain was mocking a chrysalis, struggling to break free of my own shell. I looked into the captain's eyes. I believed the captain was mocking me alongside a burning desire for strength. I looked into the captain's eyes and found truth. His presence again, alongside a burning desire for strength. I found myself drawn to the captain. It felt as if I was in. That's why I decided to join the crew of the Grand Cipher on their journey. I found myself drawn to the captain. I was convinced. That's why I decided to join the crew of the Grand Cipher on their journey across me with Zomba. I was convinced that this was the only path that could reunite me with Zomba. One day, I encountered an adorable Harvan girl at a local market. I'd already finished my shopping, so I decided to accompany her to a nearby cafe market for tea and conversation. I'd already finished my shopping. Upon parting, so I decided to accompany her to a nearby cafe. She proudly introduced herself and conversation. One of the 10 Eternals. Upon parting, I asked for her name. I had heard that Zomba once cared for a child of the same name. One of the 10 Eternals. A jealousy brewed within me. I had heard that Zomba once cared for a child of the same name. Zomba had taken notice of her. Jealousy brewed within me. Yet he never once acknowledged me during our time together. Zomba had taken notice of her. Had been shattered. Yet he never once acknowledged me during our time together. And started my training anew. My inner peace had been shattered. I tried to find direction. I retreated to the mountains. The more I realized how lost I truly was. But the more I tried to find direction who brought me back, the more I realized how lost I truly was. Nothing more. It was Lyria and the captain who brought me back. Perhaps I too could learn to live the living, breathing me. Nothing more, and not a ghost of the future. Perhaps I too could learn to live the living, breathing me. And I was ready to give up on chasing Zomba. That thought the universe works so much strange ways. As I was ready to give up on chasing Zomba, he helped bring me and Zomba together again. The universe works in strange ways. I finally put into words. As soon as I was about to let go, Thief helped bring me and Zomba together again. I wanted him to acknowledge me. It was then I finally put into words my name, how I felt. He listened quietly. I spoke about how I wanted him to acknowledge me. It was the first time to call my name. Truly saw me. He listened quietly, but I had yet to see what I felt was the first time myself. Truly as part of my quest for self-discovery, but I had yet to see blades with Zomba. No, Ayata. As part of my quest for self-discovery, he no longer believed blades with Zomba. No, after our battle, we fought for days, and it was there no longer believed I was a weakling name. After our battle, he and me visited the tea shop. Tasted so sweet and it was there that he first addressed me with nothing holding me back. Never had tea and cake. Soar toward ever greater heights. Sweet to me with my beloved companion. Now, with nothing holding me back, I am free to soar toward ever greater heights with my beloved companions on the Grand Cipher. I had failed that day at the Hailwind Altar. I had spent years training and sharpening my skills. No, I had failed that day at the Hailwind Altar to the pursuit of strength. I had spent years training and sharpening my skills. It all amounted to my entire life to the pursuit of strength. And Zego Grande had planted a seed of doubt in my mind. It all amounted to nothing. Over time, it grew. Our experiences in wild as a jungle planted a seed of doubt in me with a sense of helplessness. Over time, like I'd never felt before. Dense and wild as a jungle. I wasn't able to protect Lyria with a sense of helplessness. Like I'd never found my identity as a big sister. I wasn't able to protect Lyria. Now that I the captain, Who was I? had found my identity as a big sister. I thought about resuming my training. But now that I couldn't afford to isolate myself like that. Who was I? What if something were to happen while I was away my training? Then, but I couldn't afford to isolate myself like that. What if something were to happen while I was away on a dangerous mission? Then, I would complete it first. Came to me. That way, whenever the captain was about to take on a dangerous mission, fell swoop, I would complete it first. I was too blind to see. That way, I could train myself and protect the crew in one fell swoop. Chained me once again to the past. I was too blind to see. The despair had clipped my wings and chained me once again to the past. Are there any particularly dangerous missions available? Sierra Carte, with her usual cheery disposition, are there any particularly dangerous missions available before me? Sierra Carte, with her usual cheery disposition, set a list of options before me. She paused and looked at me with a quizzical expression.
You know, I can't even remember the last time I saw you here by your lonesome.
Looked at me with a quizzical expression.
You usually do things as a crew? You know, I can't even remember the last time I saw you here by your lonesome.
I intended to undertake these missions alone,
Don't you usually
as part of my training.
I gotcha.
I told her I intended to undertake these missions alone,
don't push yourself
as part of my training. I nodded, only half acknowledging Sierra's words.
Just don't push
After
yourself
deciding
too
upon
hard,
a venture, I chartered a small carrier vessel only half acknowledging Sierra's words. After deciding the ship was tossed about the turbulent winds, a small carrier vessel, I closed my eyes and looked for peace within. As the ship was tossed about the turbulent winds, I closed my eyes and looked for peace within. This is for their sake, as well as mine. According to Sierra, the threat should be somewhere around here. According to Sierra, the threat should be somewhere around here. I sense great evil. Just a little farther. I sense great evil. Just a little farther. Shall we test which is stronger? Your shield or my blade? No one's touch. Shall we test which is stronger? Your shield or my blade? No one's touch. Life isn't like the dawn. Touch not cloud. You cannot be alive. Life isn't like the dawn. Observe and overcome. You cannot be alive to live. Observe and overcome. I can see how this battle will end. When you're dead! I can see how this battle will end. When you're dead! The foam on the sea. You bring nothing to the fight. The foam on the sea. You bring nothing to the fight. Evil runs free. But it's not over yet. I will not rest while evil runs free. Do you not have anything more dangerous? I made quick work of the mission and returned at once to Sierra. More she seemed taken aback when I demanded more work. I made quick work of the mission. I was determined and returned at once to Sierra. Someone had to risk their life. She seemed taken aback when I demanded more work. But I was determined. Crew didn't have to know. If someone had to risk their life and danger, better me than the captain. I grew stronger. The crew didn't have to know. They would be kept free from worry and danger. In my thoughts, while I grew stronger. To notice how Sierra's eyes grew ever more clouded with worry. I was so absorbed in my thoughts, I'd failed to notice how Sierra's eyes grew ever more clouded with worry.
Hello. Hello.
I continued to take one treacherous job after another. If you want someone safe, then keep them from entering the tiger's den. One treacherous job after another. If you want someone safe,
really sure you're up for
then keep them from
Nermaya?
Entering the tiger's den. It's as simple as that. But there was no turning back now.
Are you really sure you're up for another one, Nermaya?
My labor had bore fruit. Sierra worried for me. The rest of the crew was no turning back healthier. Better rested. My labor had bore fruit. They returned earlier from missions. The rest of the crew was beginning to look healthier. I appreciate the concern, Sierra. They returned earlier from missions, bearing fewer injuries. And I must continue down this path, Sierra. For all of their path to strength is long. I was fixated on protecting my loved ones. Continue down this path. They were all I could see. For all of their sakes, if they were safe, I was fixated on protecting my loved ones. That thought alone was enough to steal my resolution. If they were safe, then nothing else mattered. That thought alone was enough to steal my resolution.
I opened my eyes and found the most entrancing face staring back at me. Clear skin. I opened my eyes, dewy eyes and found the most entrancing face staring back at me. All framed by soft golden locks. Skin, dewy involuntarily, eyes, and mischievous smile toward her cheek for a caress. By soft golden locks. Flesh met mirror. Involuntarily, woke up and my hand crept toward her cheek for a caress.
Yes.
Oh, and flesh
Good
met mirror.
morning, me.
I finally woke up
Must
and realized.
still be hazy from exchanging bodies yesterday.
Yes.
Good morning,
Lacing
me.
my fingers together, I
Reached
my arms
hazy
up for
from
a test
exchanging
stretch.
bodies yesterday. Stiff.
Lacing my fingers together, not
I
one to be
reached my
bested
arms
by a
up
vessel
for a
of my
test
own
stretch.
design. I brought my palms
Stiff.
together and began twisting.
Take that,
Not
you
one to be
stupid
bested
spine,
by a
I
vessel of
thought.
my own design.
Rue the day
I
you
brought my
defied
palms
me.
together and began twisting. Just how many
Take that, you
backbones and
stupid
digits
spine,
and
I
faces
thought.
had I conjured?
You will rue the day
I'd
you
lived
defied
long
me.
enough to know it was foolish to
Just
try
how
and keep
many
track. Backbones and digits and faces had I
did you
conjured?
hear? We're
I'd
going
lived
to visit
long
a new
enough to know
Skydom.
it was foolish to try and keep
Lyria's
track.
voice echoed from behind the door,
Did
snapping
you hear?
me back to
We're
the
going
present.
to visit a new Skydom. Sounds fun.
Lyria's voice
I'll be on
echoed
a
from
jiffy.
behind the door, snapping
My
me
voice
back
was a
to the
weaponized
present.
rainbow, strategically
Sounds
pitched to
fun.
invoke thoughts of
I'll be on a
hugs and
jiffy.
sunshine. My
As the
voice
cutest
was a
girl in all the
weaponized rainbow,
skies,
no other
strategically
would live up
pitched
to
to
my
invoke
utter
thoughts of hugs
and sunshine. You see,
As the cutest
it's a
girl in
common
all the
myth
skies,
that cuteness
no
is
other
in the
tone
eye
would
of the
live up to
beholder.
my utter perfection.
But actually,
You see,
as I have witnessed
it's
through
a
my
common
research,
myth that
it is a
cuteness
fundamental
is in the eye
law
of the beholder.
reality. But actually,
brushed
as
my
I have witnessed
disheveled
through my
hair.
research,
Minus
it is a
one law,
fundamental law
as
of
per the
reality.
theory of adorable bedhead
I quickly
optimization.
brushed my
and
disheveled
went to the
hair.
door.
Minus
The
one
crew
law,
would need me at my
as per the
cutest
theory of
if they
adorable
were to
bedhead
survive an
optimization,
untrodden skydom.
and went to the door. The crew would need me at my cutest if they were to survive an untrodden skydom. About 2,000 years ago, before the war, I was a wretched, sickly little thing. About we lived in a village years ago, Before the war, so all I could do was a wretched, for the sickly little thing. I still remember the defeated look. We lived in a village with no doctor as she attended so my bedside. All I could do was wait for the release of death. I couldn't blame her. I still remember the defeated not when she was surrounded by the other villagers. She attended my bedside. None of them thought I was long. I couldn't blame her. Not when she was surrounded by the other villagers and their whispers. The sky was full of children. None of them thought I was long for this world. So my life was tragic. In those days, but common. The sky was full of children who would never live past adolescence. Of one detail. So my life was tragic. My intellect. Common. I had been working on a theory of reality. One that would let me rewrite the laws of existence. My intellect. I dubbed it. I had been working on a theory of reality. One that would let me rewrite the laws of existence. But my sister would fetch me the necessary reagents for my experiments. I was too weak to leave the house. Each failure was more spectacular than the last. Reagents, creating a fully functional body from nothing but dirt and speculation. Each failure was more spectacular than the last. Instead, I focused on creating a fully functional body from nothing but dirt and speculation was complicated. Hypothesis, test, focus, fail. Creating an ageless hypothesis, test, capable fail. Of housing a soul. My pile of discarded monstrosities grew with each unsuccessful trial. Hypothesis, test, fail. Finally, my pile of discarded monstrosities grew with each unsuccessful trial. No bigger than your average roach. But finally, sure, I succeeded in producing a step would have killed the damn thing. No bigger than your average roach, nonetheless. Sure, and it was proof that I could achieve mastery over my own mortality. It was life, nonetheless. Now that I had more data, and it was proof that I could achieve mastery over my own mortality. And voila, I had synthesized now that I had more data for myself. All it took was a few more months was finally free to occupy a worthy form. I had synthesized a flesh bag for myself. This process a few thousand times. My soul was finally free to occupy a worthy form throughout the skies. Now, garnering love and admiration from the masses. Times. Alchemy was at its apex, spread throughout the skies. Has been conquered garnering for all. Love and admiration from the masses. Yeah, alchemy was at its apex. More followers meant more opportunity for betrayal. Eventually, a faction of alchemists turned my own bloodline against me. More opportunity for betrayal. To steal me away for centuries. Eventually, a faction of alchemists turned my own bloodline against me, and they managed to steal me away for centuries. Assholes. These magic prison stories always end the same way. A few hundred years of slumber, and people grow complacent. These magic prison stories always end the same travelers. A few hundred years of slumber, and people grow complacent. Managed to stumble upon my inert form, and travelers, foolishly mistaking me for a primal beast of the Grand Cipher. Managed to stumble upon my inert form. Immediately, I wanted to eradicate them for a primal beast or something. No one could find out I had regained my freedom. I would not suffer entombment again. I wanted to eradicate them. Even if it meant I needed to find out I had regained my freedom. I would not suffer entombment again. Even if it meant I needed to Lyria and her blue hair. Skyfarers. And there it was. An entity that I could not identify. I laid eyes upon Lyria and her blue hair. I unveiled the very laws of reality. An entity that I could not identify. She was surely from a different plane. The very laws of reality. My interest was classify her existence. And for that, I spared the crew. Surely from a different plane. What can I say? My interest was curiosity killed the alchemist. And for that, I spared the crew. With no particular agenda for my newfound liberty, curiosity killed the alchemist. I offered my services to these skyfarers. With no particular agenda for my newfound liberty, I offered my services to these skyfarers. To my findings, and they would give me unfettered access to the girl. A few times along the way, them unrestricted access to my findings. The captain readily accepted. I might save their asses a few times along the way. There was something about the gleam in the captain's eye that readily accepted. What was so special, you ask? There was something about the gleam in the captain's eye that caught my attention. That's for you to find out. What was so special, you ask?
That's for Cagliostro to know, and for you to find out.
On a typical humdrum day, I was browsing Sierra Carte's wares for a few chemical essentials. On a typical humdrum day, how the world had become a network of convenience for a few previously rare and unobtainable items. We're now collecting dust on a trading woman's network of convenience. What were previously rare and unobtainable items were now collecting dust on a vial clutched by the man standing next to me. My eyes traced the rows of flasks and potions before they settled on a vial clutched by the man standing next to me. His confused and brooding expression revealed he didn't quite understand what he was holding. Save for the fact that his confused and brooding expression revealed he didn't quite understand what potential hazard. I couldn't leave well enough alone. Who was this moron? Traveling with the crew had certainly rubbed off on me. Now that I was aware of the potential hazard, I couldn't leave well enough alone. Traveling with the crew had certainly rubbed off on me. He looked stunned.
Excuse me, mister.
An appropriate reaction, given my stunning countenance.
What you gonna do with it?
He looked stunned. An appropriate reaction, given my stunning countenance.
Oh, I didn't take you for a painter, mister.
It's pigment. Needed for painting supplies.
Pigments were frequently composed of toxic earth metals.
I didn't take you
Perhaps
for a
I worried
painter,
over nothing.
mister.
Pigments were
not for me.
frequently composed
My
of
little
toxic
sister's
earth
the
metals.
artistic one.
Perhaps I worried over nothing, huh? His entire
it's
mood
not for me.
shifted.
My little
Tense
sister's
shoulders
the artistic
relaxing
one.
and lips curving into a soft grin. His entire
was
mood
nothing
shifted.
like a few seconds ago.
Tense shoulders relaxing,
he seemed to be
and
studying
lips
the
curving
pigment
like
like
his
his
life
life
depended on it. It was nothing
Perhaps
like
he
a
was
few
a few
seconds
rupees
ago.
short.
When he seemed to be studying the
mental
pigment like his
calculus
life
doesn't
depended on
translate
it.
to confusion.
Perhaps
His look
he
was
was a few
more
rupees short.
Concerned?
No.
Mental
calculus doesn't
no.
translate to confusion.
I'd seen that
His look
exact
was
expression
more
before.
Concerned?
So what color
no.
picture will she paint?
I'd seen that
Cagliostro
exact
sure wants
expression
to see the final
before.
product. So what color picture will she paint? Cagliostro sure wants to see the final product.
This is coming out of nowhere.
What the hell?
Pretty please.
Did I not give him the world's cutest plea?
This is coming out of
How dare he
nowhere.
refuse me? He will suffer
the
for
hell?
Did I not
But
give him
I
the
guess
world's
it's
cutest
okay.
plea?
I actually have
How
some free
dare
time
he
now,
refuse
if you're
me?
eager.
He will suffer for... There.
But
That was more
I
like
guess
it.
it's okay. I actually have
Lyria,
some free
the
time
captain,
now, if
and
you're
I
eager.
followed the man to his studio.
There.
Listening to him
That was
jabber
more
about
like
his
it.
life along the way. Lyria, the captain,
His name
and
was
I
Heimel,
followed the man
and
to
he had
his
been
studio,
living alone with his
listening to
sister,
him
Shanae,
jabber about
ever
his
since their
life
parents
along the way
died.
when they were younger. Their
His
life
name
was
was
simple,
Heimel,
he
and
explained.
he had been living alone with
But
his
a simple
sister,
life
Shanae,
was a luxury
ever since
for
their
some.
parents died when they were younger.
Wait till you
Their
see.
life was simple,
Schnee's
he
paintings
explained.
are breathtaking.
But a simple
and I'm
life
not just
was a
saying
luxury for
that.
some.
The world needs her Wait till you see. Schnee's paintings
He was a
are
light with
breathtaking.
passion.
And I'm not just saying
Stupid
that.
smile
The
plastered
world
across his
needs
face.
her talent.
True pride in his sister's
He was a
craft.
light with passion.
As for me,
Stupid
smile plastered
was
across
too
his face.
abstract.
How
True
would one
pride in
tame
his
the
sister's
subjective?
craft.
Bring order to chaos.
As
For me, there was
art
too
was
much I
too
couldn't
abstract.
comprehend. How would one tame the subjective? Bring
was
order
it not
to chaos.
aesthetics that led me
There
to
was too much I
understand and
couldn't
codify
comprehend.
the deep mysteries of cuteness?
Yes.
But was it not
Perhaps
aesthetics
there
that
was
led me to
something I could learn
understand
from a
and
craft
codify
as
the deep
humble as
mysteries
painting?
of cuteness?
And thus, with the
Perhaps
future of
there
alchemy
was
on my
something I could
dainty
learn from a
shoulders,
craft
I
as
pushed
humble
open
as
the door
painting.
to the studio. And thus, with the future of alchemy on my dainty shoulders, I pushed open the door to the studio. We entered to find Shanae violently tossing in bed. Heimel rushed over, grabbing a phial of healing tincture from her bedside, violently tossing in bed, hand supporting her shaking head. Heimel rushed over, poured the concoction into her mouth, healing tincture. Immediately, her convulsions lessened, but her breathing was still shaking head. He poured the concoction into her mouth. It became clear why he was
Immediately,
so
her
antsy
convulsions
back at Ziero's
lessened,
store, but her
Toxic
breathing was
pigments
still
could be
labored. Dangerous in even the most steady of hands.
It became clear why he was
so antsy back at Ziero's
I glanced
store.
down at Shanae's
Toxic
fingers
pigments could be
trembling on her
dangerous in
bedsheets.
even the most steady of hands. Pressing forward, I gave her a cursory examination. Fingers normally, I don't afford peons the luxury of my intellectual evaluation. I gave her a cursory examination. Normally, I don't afford these symptoms the luxury of my intellectual evaluation.
You know what's the matter?
I was feeling generous. Lyria's voice quivered with worry. These symptoms are grave. I do. I've seen this exact disease once upon a time. Lyria's voice quivered with worry. Heimel's eyes shot to me. I do. Propelled more by hope this exact disease once upon a time.
Truly?
Heimel's eyes shot to me.
Useless.
Propelled
they
more
just
by
give her
hope
pain
than
relievers
surprise.
and leave. Can you do something, truly? The local
as much as I wanted to refuse,
they just give her pain relievers and leave.
Heimel's desperation reminded me too much of my own sister. As much as I wanted to refuse, I'm not a medical professional. Heimel's desperation reminded me too much of my own sister. But it's not a permanent solution. I'm not a medical professional. Not to mention the biggest pain in the ass. Sure, I know a formula that might ease her symptoms, but it's not a permanent solution.
Please. You're all
not to mention the biggest pain in the ass. Tracking down all the components. Now, the deal was sealed.
Please. You're all we've got.
And it had nothing to do with Lyria, Vern, and Captain Goody Two-Shoes staring holes into the back of my head. And it had nothing to do with Lyria, Vern, and Captain Goody Two-Shoes staring holes into the back of my head.
Consider yourself lucky.
Fine.
We left the studio and hurried back to the airship.
Cagliostro is on the case. I could think of only one environment that would produce the necessary reagents.
Hurried back to the airship.
Mount Nagelith. In this Skydom, I could think of only one environment that would produce the necessary reagents. Mount Nagelith. Perfect. The component should be somewhere around here.
We need reagents attuned to water. Let's sweep the area.
Roger that!
Sweep the area.
Focus up,
Very, very careful! Okay?
Make a good point. Focus up.
Of course.
You're a mean water spirit! Why don't you play nice? You're a mean water spirit!
Take him! This one!
This way!
Stay alert, folks!
Well said. You need the
Take him! This one! Stay alert, folks!
Well said. You lead the way.
All we have to do is collect this stuff, right?
Yep. But we'll need more than that.
Look into the fray, if you insist!
Superb. What did you expect?
Let's keep it up. Look into the fray, if you insist!
Superb. What did you expect?
Let's keep it up.
This one's suspiciously large. Let's smash it and see what it's hiding.
Ah! An ambush!
On me, we turned the tide. On me, we turned the tide.
Let's pin you up.
Are those spirits protecting it? Either way, looks like we'll have to go through them.
We have enough minerals.
Are those spirits protecting it? Either way, looks like we'll have to go through them.
We have enough minerals.
I think I got them further up ahead.
Let us press on.
Make a good point. I think I got them further up ahead.
Say goodnight. Let us press on.
All right, lead the way.
Make a good point.
Sorry, Cagliostro's in a hurry.
Hit them back.
Sorry, Cagliostro's in a hurry.
Hit them back.
Get over here.
Doctor where are you looking? Here.
Under my watch.
Doctor's in.
Bingo! Pardon our intrusion.
Janae's counting on us. Yes, do it.
Bingo! Pardon our intrusion.
Janae's counting on us. Yes, do it.
Don't let him escape. My blade.
Let's just focus on the path ahead.
Don't let him escape. My blade. Let's roll.
Let's just focus on the path ahead.
You can
We got this in the bag.
Let's roll.
Let's move on.
You
We got this in the bag.
Hold it, Dion. Watch your step. Hold it, Dion.
As if you need one.
Bring your tears to us.
As if you need one.
We will prevail.
Keep it up for the next one.
I'm about to crank.
Into the fray. We will prevail.
Keep it up for the next one.
I'm about to crank.
Great work, everyone. That was nice. Leave it to me. Care to join me? Great work, everyone. To me. Let's leave it to me. That shot was done for.
I got more where that came from.
That shot was done for.
I got more where that came from. Okay, I'm calling you Hellcat.
No objections here. I'll support.
Got eyes on him. Okay, I'm calling you Hellcat from now on.
No objections here. Mouth our chest. Next time, let's really show them what we're made of. Understood. Mouth our chest. Next time, let's really show them what we're made of. Understood.
Crimson Thorn.
So, did we get the deers?
Of course we did. I even had time to distill them.
Wins again. So, did we get the deers?
Of course we
Keep
did.
the handle.
I even
Too
had time to
smart to
distill
beat.
them.
Too cute to handle. Too smart to beat. We'll repay you someday.
The moment the potion reached Shanae's stomach, wariness melted from her
We'll repay you
frame.
someday.
That medicine will only temporarily stop Shanae's stomach. They'll be wariness melted from her frame. The problem. That medicine will only temporarily stop your symptoms. They'll be back if you don't treat the root of the problem. Shanae was not the only one feeling more relaxed.
Peace is priceless, no
With
matter how
tensions
brief.
eased, I decided it was not the only one feeling Shanae's condition. Lycerian fever syndrome. With tensions eased, it was an autoimmune disorder of the nervous system caused by irregularities in the body's ley line structure. Common side effects included autoimmune disorder of the nervous lower extremities caused by irregularities in the body's ley line structure. Development occurred in the embryonic stage. Included a defense against the mother's extremities line system, an unrelenting interpreting the fetus as a foreign object. Occurred in the embryonic stage. Of course, the prescribed painkillers and fever reducers had not been effective. The fetus as a foreign object. They could not treat what was essentially a natural function of Shanae's body. Painkillers and fever reducers had not been effective.
But the formula you made for us,
they could not treat what was essentially a natural function of Shanae's body. But suppression isn't treatment.
But the formula you made for us, it suppressed her symptoms, didn't it?
There will be unfortunate side effects if she uses it over a long period of time. Suppression isn't treatment. I couldn't make you a true cure. There will be unfortunate side effects if she uses it over a long period of time. I'm just sorry I couldn't make you a true cure. Brave little thing.
Please don't apologize.
She had done nothing to earn her lot in life. But suffering claimed her all the same. Brave little thing. Though the world was built she had done nothing to earn her lot in life. At times, suffering claimed her all the same. I felt as if I understood nothing about it. Though the world was built upon fundamental truths, at times, I felt as if I understood nothing about it.
Good day. Good day.
It was a bright day when Vern, Lyria, the captain, and I went back to the studio. Shanae was staring out the window with a dazed smile. Lyria, the captain, and I went back to the studio. Good. Shanae was staring out the window.
Crazy how you invited yourself to the studio to see my sister's
paintings. The formula
paintings.
was still working.
And now you're her personal pharmacist. Crazy how you invited yourself to the studio to see my sister's paintings.
If you feel
now
like
you're
repaying
her personal
me,
pharmacist.
how about you finally cough up some art and show me around? If you feel like repaying me, how about you finally cough up some art and show me around?
Feel free to get close. That's a fair price. The details. Everything in the studio was painted by Shanae.
I had managed only a distracted glance at the studio's walls.
Admire the details.
But this time, I saw visual creativity I had managed only a distracted glance at the studio's walls. I wasn't an expert on art, but this time, even I felt visual creativity exploding from her drawings. Powerful pieces swirled around me like a hurricane. Felt the vibrant energy bounding from her drawings. Painting in particular. Powerful pieces swirled around me like a hurricane. Sketches were littered about the floor, too. One painting in particular. Even they were filled with vitality. Resonant. How could such a feeble body muster such littered about the floor, too? Even they were filled with vitality.
That pigment I bought when we met.
How could such a feeble body muster such vivid work? Taking the vial from a shelf.
Oh yeah.
Heimel poured the pigment into a dish and mixed it with oil.
Want to see it in action?
A few swirls later, the vial from a shelf, the color had transformed in a way that was a dish and mixed it with oil. A few swirls later, and the color had transformed in a way that was more chemistry than alchemy. Heimel smiled and handed the freshly prepared paint to Shanae, who was already mid-painting. A bead of sweat trailed down her brow and handed the freshly prepared paint to Shanae, her canvas, who was already mid-painting.
I believe in Shanae's talent.
A bead of sweat trailed down her brow as she swabbed the tint across her canvas.
I just have to get the world to recognize it. I believe in Shanae's talent.
It's nice having a supportive sibling.
She's amazing.
I meant it.
I just have to get the world to recognize it. I never know how to read your tone. But, well, her condition made me realize how precious our time together is.
Heimel,
I never know how to read your tone.
Known abundance,
but, well,
smiled like the richest of merchants.
Her condition made me realize how precious our time together is.
With a raw deal, it was clear her life clearly had never known abundance. Smiled like the richest of merchants. Tell my own sister, though Shanae had been left with a raw deal. You were my courage when I was weak. It was clear her life wasn't my light when I was in darkness. If only I could go back. I have lived through eons. But you were my courage when I was weak. I hoped these were my light when I was in darkness would understand what they meant to one another. I have lived through eons. I even prayed a little. You were my rock. Which was dumb. I hoped these siblings, at least, Skydom still thinks understand what they meant to one another. Yes, I'm getting sentimental in my old age. Which was dumb, considering this Skydom still thinks primal beasts are gods. Guess I'm getting sentimental in my old age.
Well then, so long.